If you're going to sew a zipper in front of a jacket, you need, if you want it with the facing inside to break the wind, we got here our left side and our right side. Here I just have the same as my facing here, and you can see the notches because my notch here is front and this is a folded. The other side is just the notch, so I just got seam allowance there. Now, to make it look nice in a jacket, you often got some lining, and here I just got another piece of fabric. So this here is the front, only with 1 centimeter of seam allowance. Now I put away my lining, then I have to prepare this facing. I have already prepared it, so I have started ironing some interlining upon it. Now I fold it and stitch it 1 centimeter at top and at bottom. And the same here. So I got it ready to use. And here it is. I turn the right side out of it and put it aside for ironing. Now, where do I want to have my zipper? If I look at these pieces, and I definitely chosen a zipper you can see, then I would like my zipper to be here and in here so it's covered, and then I would like to have my facing part here so it's breaking the wind the other way around, like that and like that. So when I open, I got this facing behind my zipper. That means here I'm supposed to put these things together according to the opening. Now I place my zipper and make sure you still got space enough to add, for example, a collar. Now sometimes it's so much easier if you start doing it, or you do it by stitching twice, because then you've got everything under control, you might say. So here I got my zipper placed. Now you'll see that my facing is shorter. It's just the same length as the zipper, because I don't want it to go up here. I don't want it to drop further down. I just want it to be where the zipper is. So we place it like this, put this little thing aside, and now it might be a good idea to move this, change to a zipper foot, like that, and I'm stitching it. It's always and sometimes really complicated to get around these small things here, so let's just do it like this. Now I'm up here, I raise my foot, and it's possible to get, if I'm not doing anything odd, it should be possible to get this little thing across, but maybe not. Not today. That's the way to do it. So then start again. Remember, hopefully nobody is looking inside what you're doing. So we got here our zipper, and remember the zipper is going to lay down, and you've got to remember that for later. Now just cut away this thread in the middle, take my facing and place it here. Now you got the opportunity, of course, of doing it from the wrong side to assure that you catch it, and I'll just do that to show you. So the length, place the pins, so you stitch in exactly the same seam and nobody will notice you did it twice. And up here, and now I'm just stitching once again exactly the same seam. And now it's through all layers. I assemble my pieces first before making any top stitching. It still don't work, so I'm going to cut it, move the glider and then continue. If you think, why don't I overlock anything? It's because in a jacket you don't overlock at all. You are just sewing it on an ordinary lock stitch machine because all seams are being covered by the interlining, or no, by the lining, sorry. So you see, what have we got here? We got our zipper in here where we would like it. Like that. It's not top stitch, and we've got to wait for that until we got our lining inside. So I'm going to prepare the other side here, and now of course you've got to be sure that you put your zipper right, so you can always close it again to assure that, so you know how to place it. Because what I like now is that this is like that. So I can open up here and I can just place one pin and then open up my zipper, put that side a little bit away, and now I know this is how it's supposed to be. So I'm going to stitch this one. And if you started with the first one and stitch it from the top down, you've got to stitch it again from the top down. Otherwise you can actually kind of pull your zipper so it's not working and it's not looking right. So I did it like this last time, and I'm going to do that again. And now I've got this side as well, and let's just try and close it and see as if it's working. And it's definitely working. You see, opening up like this. If I open up here, I got my facing at the back to break the wind. And now it's time for our lining. So I want the lining I got here, I want it to be in here and in here. So again, I open up because now it's supposed to be attached here, and this is actually the third stitching we are doing upon each other. So again, I do it from this side to assure that I can see what I'm working with. Of course, there are things that are a little bit more complicated if this were a full jacket. Right now, I'm just doing a small sub-component, but how to do it, that's the same. And again, we're coming to the glider, so I better cut it. It's because I want to go quite close to my zipper. That's the reason why I have a little bit of problems here. Let's look into it, and you see, here is the back side with our lining, and this is the front side, so we got a nice look inside. The other side, I'm doing more or less the same. Here, I place it again at my front line, stitch it from the wrong side in exactly the same stitching I just done. And now I've got the other side, like, oh, it's not gonna do it like that inside. Now I'm just gonna go and iron, and then we're gonna finish this zipper. Now I've got here my parts, and if again closing the zipper, if it's possible, it should be better do it like this, because sometimes handling can be the worst problem ever. And oh, come on, what are you doing? Problems, 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 like that. Like this, you see, we actually got it like we want it here. Now the only thing that's left is to make the top stitching. Remember, you can't do that before you have done it all, before you finished your jacket, because if you've got to put a collar in here, or you've got to do something about the bottom part, you've got to finish that before doing the top stitching, because you can't open up afterwards. If, for example, I had a collar, I would stitch it up here first and put my collar maybe in between, and I'll have it like that, and the same on the other side. So again, you've got to remember the collar needs to be done, the bottom needs to be done, everything needs to be done before we do our stitching. Now I'm separating the zipper again. Make sure that your seams are folded like this, and that your facing is that way, because now we've got to do a top stitching. And I just put in a few pins to keep all these layers, because there is a lot of layers in here, and I need to keep it so I know it's going to stay there. Now I can decide the distance, and here I don't want it to be super close to my zipper. I just need to have a beautiful top stitching. So I'm not, because I've done it as I have, I'm not absolutely it's not absolutely necessary for me to follow the edge of the zipper. So instead I follow the line here so I can see that it's going to be equal. When you do that, that's much better to do. Look here, then if you look at the needle, you have a tendency of sewing like this. But if you look here, it's so much easier to do something in a straight line. Of course, make sure you don't have any foldings, because that was not the purpose of this. And if you feel a little bit unsecure, you can always just do it by hand first and then stitch it afterwards. But you see now I got my top stitch here and everything is attached and everything is in the right way. Put that aside and do the other part as well. Top stitch it in the edge here. And we've done it. Now we can again close it to see how it looks. And now you've got here a beautiful zipper closure to be used, for example, in the front of a jacket, opening up, and you've still got a nice inside. And this facing to break the wind. Did you like what you just seen, and do you want to learn more? Then subscribe. I'll constantly develop and upload new things, all based upon the professional way of sewing. All the best from me and good luck with your work.